So good evening, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for joining in today. I think as we give a few more people some time to join, I can introduce myself. My name is Melanie Hapisu. I am a digital marketing consultant, but I also run my own digital marketing agency called DigiPath Africa, where we help individuals and businesses to navigate their way online with a bigger goal of taking their products and services to the market through digital marketing. So we do this through a number of things, from strategy up until content creation, setting up of ads, tracking, measuring, and figuring out what is working and what is not out of all those efforts. But most of all, we also do trainings, both free and paid. So welcome to today's session. Such an honor to have you here. Once again, for those who are joined in early, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. You never know who you may meet on this call, so feel free to just introduce yourself. At the moment, depending on what numbers we have, you may notice that you may not be able to unmute yourself, but during the Q&A session, you'll be able to mute yourself. So in case you have any question throughout the entire presentation, feel free to drop it in the chat. And then when we get to the Q&A session towards the end, we'll get to handle each of the questions that you have. However, at some point during the presentation, I may ask for some contributions from a few of us, just in terms of what you think about certain elements I'm going to discuss today. But for today, we're going to be talking about what a digital marketing career looks like. And it's such an honor to take people through this conversation, because then it's something that I'm very passionate to speak about, specifically because then for most people, digital marketing is equals to social media marketing, yet that's not the case. So for today, we'll first of all dive into the definition of digital marketing and then talk about what actually falls into this umbrella of digital marketing. So, enjoy the session. Feel free to ask as many questions as possible. I assure you that by the end of the session, you'll have learned a lot. So I really encourage you guys to just engage and learn as much as possible. So probably we can start from the basis of just a definition. This term, digital marketing, lots of people, throw it out there loosely. Some may know the meaning, some may not know the meaning, but I think just out of curiosity, based on those of us who are on the call, what do you think digital marketing is all about? What do you think it means to be a digital marketer? And something I like to tell people is, during my sessions, there are no wrong answers. So feel free to say whatever comes to mind, and we can sort of use that to build a bigger definition around what digital marketing is exactly. So allow me to just pick on a few people as we go through this conversation. Maybe we can start with Monica. Monica, what do you think digital marketing is? When you hear that term, what does digital marketing mean to you? Okay, maybe as we wait to hear from Monica, Jemima, what do you think digital marketing is? What do you understand when you hear someone says they're into digital marketing or they're a digital marketer? Okay, I'd love to know if you guys can hear me, because now I'm starting to begin to doubt that I can be heard. So someone please confirm if you can hear me. And if you don't mind, please do it via audio, then let us know what you think digital marketing is. Okay, guys, can you not hear me? Is that what that means? Because then no one is confirming.
Hi, Melanie, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Bianca, for confirming. Do you mind telling us what you think digital marketing is?
I think it entails something to do with social media. That's my thinking.
Okay, thanks for that, Bianca. Thank you very much. Definitely social media is a part of it all. Maybe we can hear from somebody else. What do you think digital marketing is? Remember, we said there are no wrong answers, so I'd really love to know what you think. Anyone? Maybe we can hear from Lillian.
Hi, I think for me, I would say digital marketing is marketing using online platforms.
Nice, thank you so much. So we have online platforms so far, we have social media. Maybe one final person, Evans, what do you think digital marketing is?
Good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, I think it's marketing using internet.
Nice, thank you so much. Thank you for that. So internet, online platforms, and we also have social media. Jemima, I think you had unmuted yourself. Would you like to say something before we proceed? Okay.
Whatever I wanted to say has been said. I wanted to say it's marketing on the online platforms.
All right, thank you so much for contributing. So definitely everything you've all said contributes to the wider definition of digital marketing. So I want you to think of digital marketing in two different ways. So for some of us, just as it's come out in the definition from some of the things we've had, digital marketing is basically the advertising or marketing of different things through online channels or digital channels. And then we have another definition of digital marketing, which is it's any form of marketing of either your products or services that involves either electronic devices or the internet. And the reason why I'm giving you those two definitions is because then for some of us, online channels could just be social media. But for other people, online channels could also include things like email, for example. If we go to platforms that utilize electronic devices or the internet, again, when you think of digital platforms that utilize the internet, again, you slowly default back to social media platforms that allow you to run adverts. But when you think of platforms that allow you to advertise through electronic devices, then you could come to something as simple as the messages you receive from your mobile data provider, for example. That's an example of digital marketing, just in a different way. You could consider the notifications you receive on some of the apps you have, be it maybe an application for a food delivery service. Sometimes when they're doing their marketing, you get a notification within your app. That's an example of digital marketing using an electronic device. So I want you to move away from just thinking about digital marketing as social media to seeing what else this umbrella has to offer. And this is why this session was so important, because then when we talk about what a career in digital marketing looks like, we all default to thinking it's just posting on social media, yet it's more than that. So I'll just share my screen and I'll show you a list of the various things that fall under this umbrella, and I'll sort of do a brief introduction to each before we fully dive into them. So think of digital marketing as an umbrella. And under this umbrella of digital, we have all these things I've listed here. These are some. People may have different ways of categorizing aspects of digital marketing, but you'll find that these ones are the most common that people sort of put under the digital marketing umbrella. So we have social media marketing, which is basically a form of marketing where you use social networking platforms to push your agenda of marketing. There's a lot more when it comes to social media marketing. It's not just about thinking of a post, putting it up in terms of the visual and the caption. There's a lot more that happens behind the scenes, which we'll talk about deeper in a few minutes. But we also have something we call influencer marketing, which basically involves working with an influential person to help you market your products or your services. The key word here is influential. Someone could be a person of influence, even with their 100 followers. But for us as human beings, most of the time we think a person of influence should have thousands or millions of followers. That doesn't have to be the case. So again, I'll go deeper into that in a few minutes. But we also have digital advertising, which is a form of marketing where you pay for space to advertise on various digital platforms. You can do this on social media. You can do this on platforms like Google. You can do this on platforms like YouTube. I mean, a number of platforms. So we'll also dive into a bit of detail for that. We have email marketing, which is marketing via email, of course, with the bigger goal here being to build a relationship. So rather than just sending an email to tick a box, you're trying to build a relationship with your consumers. And the best part about it from a digital perspective, you use an email marketing tool that allows you to not only just send the email, but you can beautify it, for example, and make it look more visually appealing. You can track and figure out how many people opened your email, what parts of the emails did they click on. That's if you had buttons or if you had links in your email, you're able to track more than that. Then we have two things that are closely related to each other. We have something called search engine optimization and pay-per-click advertising. Think of search engine optimization as where your website ranks when someone does a search related to your business or for your business name on a search engine, for example, like Google. Different people use different search engines. So I could use Google, someone else could use maybe Bing, for example. Where does your website rank depending on where someone searches for you? Everybody wants to be on the first page of a Google search. In fact, everyone wants to be the first result on a Google search. How possible is it? What are some of the things you need to look at when you're considering something like that when it comes to search engine optimization? One of the things you can do that sorts of improves your search engine optimization is what we're calling pay-per-click advertising. I'm talking about it from a perspective of search engine optimization because then that's where most digital marketers end up using it, where you set up your adverts on a platform like Google and you drive people to your website and you're billed per click. That's why it's called pay-per-click. So sometimes it could work on platforms like Google, but it could also work on social media platforms where you tell Facebook, Instagram, or the rest, please only charge me based on the number of clicks I have. So this is a form of advertising that, in my opinion, is very helpful because then you're not just charged for running the ad, but you're charged every time someone takes an action of clicking. Then we have mobile marketing. I think I've given two good examples. The messages you receive from your, data providers or the ones you receive from these places for takeout, the KFCs and the rest. I've also talked about those ones that come in form of an application notification rather than a message. We also have affiliate marketing. And in this case, I want you to think about it in terms of digital affiliate marketing. And how it basically works is Melanie will be given a link that will be specifically for her to sell certain products for a company. Say we are affiliates for Amazon. So Melanie will have her link, Evans will have his link, Jemima will have her link, and each of us will be able to sort of share that link with people, and whoever buys a product using our link, the sale can be pegged to us. And that's why we are called affiliates. So we earn a certain percentage of the sale based on all that tracking via the link. So this is also a really helpful element of digital marketing that I think very many companies are sleeping on, especially e-commerce platforms. In our country here in Kenya, for those of us who are from Kenya, we have a company called Jumia that is an e-commerce platform that actually has an affiliate program. And I mean, you can earn from it, and they also end up benefiting because you're helping them to market their products. Then finally, we have video marketing. Why have I categorized this separately? Because we are slowly seeing the growth in video when it comes to different platforms. We are seeing consumers starting to rely on video-only platforms such as TikTok, for example, when it comes to probably their source of entertainment. And you're so slowly seeing brands jumping onto that to sort of market different elements of their product or service offering. So already you can see there's so much under this umbrella. And if you're planning to start a career in digital marketing, you can decide you're doing all of them. You can decide you're doing some of them. But the main thing here is for you to become good at something, you realize you have strengths in certain elements, not necessarily all of them. So for me personally, when I began my career, I worked at an organization where I had to learn everything. I'm not necessarily the best at everything, but I have areas where I have an idea of how to do them. But I would rather say work with an expert in that field. So for example, search engine optimization is something that I used to be okay doing, but it was not one of my favorite things. But after handling a few clients, I had to sort of specialize and learn how to do that area. But for instance, right now, if someone walked up to me and told me to handle their digital affiliate marketing, to be honest, I have no idea. If you came and told me to handle your mobile marketing, the most I can do is refer you to a company that would allow you to do bulk messages, for example, or a company that would allow you to do in-app notifications. So everyone has their area of strength, but it's very good to have an idea of the different elements of what this could involve. In fact, in some countries, the specializations go deeper than what we have here on my screen. You'll meet someone who will tell you, I'm a Facebook specialist, or I'm a LinkedIn specialist. But in our country here, it's very rare in Kenya or even East Africa to find someone who's specifically a specialist for a certain platform. So you find someone tell you, I'm a social media marketer or I'm an influencer marketer. Sometimes someone will say, I'm a digital marketer, meaning they sort of have a skill or an idea of how to do a bit of everything. So it's for you to decide what do you want to call yourself, so that then you're not confusing clients. You don't want to come and tell a client I'm a digital marketer and truly you mean you're a social media marketer. But something I want you to remember, despite all these things being under that umbrella, is when you're doing digital marketing, in as much as you're marketing on those online platforms or platforms that require the internet or electronic devices, the key thing is your consumers or the consumers of that brand you're marketing have to be on that platform. So just because you've gotten client X, it doesn't mean that you should tell them, let's do all these things. Let's do social media marketing, let's do digital advertising, influencer marketing, and all the rest. No. Please think of who their audience is. Think of where they could potentially be in terms of like digital platforms, and then narrow down and come up with a strategy that is backed up with consumers behind it. So you're able to tell a customer, yes, you should do social media marketing, but when you're doing social media marketing, you should only be on Facebook and Instagram, because the people you're targeting, which is maybe this kind of gender, this type of age, are on those platforms as compared to Twitter and LinkedIn. If you're doing maybe something like, let's say, digital advertising, instead of running your ads on social media, you can tell our clients, I would recommend you run your adverts on Google, specifically Google search kind of advertisements, because you want your consumers to find you at their point of need after they've made a search. So always make sure you're able to back up any decision you're making. So as we dive deeper into each of these categories, I'd like you to start thinking of what would interest you in terms of a career. And I mean, after this call, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, or sort of give some form of guidance around some of the things you can do to sort of narrow down when it comes to your career. I think towards the end, after I go through the final category, I'll give you a bit of my story of how I got into this career and how it's going right now, just so that you can see it's possible. You know, there's so many people out here calling themselves digital marketers just because they are posting something online. But from what I've already explained, just from this slide, you can see digital marketing is more than just that name. There's a lot more that goes into, you know, the thinking of it. And as I dive deeper, you get to see that it's actually a lot of work. So for those of you who've been thinking that digital can only be a side hustle, no, it can actually be a full-time career. And it doesn't have to be that you have your own company for you to consider it a full-time career. No, you could be working for someone maybe at their agency. You could be freelancing full-time as a digital marketer. So be open-minded as we keep talking about it. Again, for those who joined in case of any questions, feel free to just ask. There's someone on the call called Lil. Lil, I can see you've clicked on one of the can I call them symbols? Would you like me to go faster? I think that's what that means. But in case you have any question, feel free to just always put it in the chat. We'll address it during the Q&A session. So let's dive in to social media marketing. I mentioned it's a form of marketing that happens on social networking platforms. Keyword here is social. The main aim of Melanie or Evans or Rose being on social media is they're here to socialize. That was the initial reason why we all joined social media. So the goal of it all then is for the different people who are using these social media platforms to produce content that users will actually want to interact with in terms of likes, comments, or shares. So what does that do for a business? If someone likes, comments, or shares about whatever you're talking about as a business, it helps you create awareness, but also broaden the amount of people that you reach. So even when you're thinking of a career in social media marketing, specifically if you're going to be marketing businesses or even personalities, think of this in the end. What type of communication content are you going to put out that users are going to feel like they should engage with in those different forms that I've mentioned? So one thing that we always forget is to be social. And yet that's a very, very critical element of this whole conversation. So as you think of social media marketing, there are a few rules that I would say should be top of mind. When it comes to social media marketing for a business, don't sell too much. In as much as you're selling, try your best to educate as well. People love free things. I mean, you are here, free session. But try to find a balance between both. Whether you have a product or a service, think of what element you can give for free. Most of the time when I say that, people who sell products ask me, I can't give my products for free. Yes, you can't, but you can educate me on a certain product for free. So if, for example, you are selling something like maybe a blender, you can share the value of why I should actually have a blender. Give me reasons to buy that blender. It may sound like you're begging me, but from a digital marketing perspective, you are just convincing me. Tell a story when it comes to social media. It's a social place. People love stories. Make it as personal as possible. I'm sure there are brands that you've interacted with where you've seen them putting out content and you feel like they were almost talking about you in that post. Try and make your consumers feel like that when they're reading your content. But in this world where so many people are speaking online, you have to be different. Whether it's visually, whether it's through your copy, you need to stand out. What is going to make Bianca, for example, want to listen to brand A as compared to brand B? So think widely. And when it comes to social media marketing, it's closely related to influencer marketing, which was the second category that we had. And when you think of influencer marketing, I said it's basically a type of marketing where you work with an influential person to market your product. This person has the influence or the power to affect a consumer's purchasing decisions or just ability to make them take an action, not necessarily a purchase. So is it they're going to make people want to visit your website or visit your social media page? This person has that power based on different reasons. So either based on who they are in the society, based on the knowledge they have, based on either the product or the service you're selling, maybe who they are to the audience today. For example, if your friends told you about something, there's a high chance they'll be able to influence you as compared to a stranger, for example. So what does a career as an influencer, as a social media marketer and an influencer manager look like? So for social media, for example, I mentioned it's not just about waking up to post. You have to understand a client's target audience. You have to come up with a strategy, which I want you to think about as basically just a map that gives you direction around how you should implement their social media marketing efforts. You will need to manage these customers' pages. You need to look for opportunities to help the brand interact and have conversations online. So it's more than just about posting. You have to intentionally think of whatever post is going up today. Why are we having that specific post go up? So when you marry that to influencer management, then it becomes a whole other role where you as the social media person for brand A is the one who's going to meet up and guide an influencer around. This is what we want to push in terms of our business, and we would like to work with you because we were able to, for example, some things that I tell people are very important when you're working with influencers or doing influencer marketing. You need to identify, does that influencer's audience actually match with the audience you're targeting? Sometimes you'll work with an influencer because they have 1 million followers, but those followers are not within your target market. Then no results will be given, and you'll wonder why were things not working, simply because you chose the wrong influencer. So this could be a potential role for you, where you're not just a social media manager, but you're also an influencer manager. Which means your role will then be to sort of source for influencers for a client, manage them through the project, co-brainstorm with them to come up with ideas that would be suitable for your client. But on the flip side, you could also decide to become an influencer marketer yourself. So when it comes to being an influencer, this is something you can work on and build. It's not that you'll wake up today and you're an influencer. You have to identify a niche, start talking around that niche until people can actually trust your word on it. And once you get to that level, then you can start approaching brands, or brands can start approaching you in terms of work. But for influencer marketing, it's more than just them posting and giving your company a shout out. You need to be able to track and know, did it actually work? Was the goal to direct people to the website? How many people did we direct to the website? Was it maybe to create awareness? How many people did we reach? How many shares did we have? So it's more of how relevant are they for your business rather than how many followers do they have. So this is a very, very big conversation when it comes to digital marketing. And there are different kinds of influencers. Even as you get into this career of digital marketing, this is something that you need to remember. I want you to keep this visual in your mind because it basically shows the different types of influencers we have based on their followers. So for instance, here in Kenya, there is a lot of growth around brands using nano influencers, which is people who are between 500 and 2,000 followers, simply because they have a deeper relationship with their consumer, and their consumers are likely to believe what they say when they post about it, as compared to someone who has 50,000 followers, for example. Majority of them are strangers. So for them to believe what you're saying, it means you have been talking about it for some time, you've used the product and actually convinced them to want to purchase from this brand that you're trying to market for. So far, we've covered the social media aspect, we've covered the influencer marketing aspect. What else do we have under this umbrella? We have something called digital advertising. For those who are not here when we're doing our intro, digital advertising, think of it as paying for space to run adverts on different digital platforms. So you can do it on social, you can do it on email, on websites, you can do it on search engines like Google. There are lots of places you can run ads, but you may notice that you've probably seen a few of them. So these are examples of ads that appear on social media. They usually have the word sponsored on them, as you can see from here. If I keep going through this presentation, just allow me to go to a different slide to show you. We have another type of ad that appears on search engines such as Google. That's what I was referring to as the pay-per-click adverts on Google. So they appear like this, sort of, you have your headline and a paragraph, and then it has the word ad. So you can see each of these has the words ad. Some of them appear as pop-ups on different websites. So you'll notice images, maybe on a number of websites. I can show you an example of one. So if I go to Business Daily's website, you'll realize that they have a number of advertisements running on their platform. So let's just give it a second to load so that we can each get to see that. So this, for example, the houses we have here, example of digital display ads. So if I hover on this information button, it tells you ads by Google. If I scroll, let's see if we'll see a different kind of ad. Forgive me, I have lots of ads to do with houses. Surprisingly, we have something here, kitchen appliances in Kenya. Again, this is an ad by Google. So these are examples of display ads. The adverts you see on YouTube, for example, that's a way where you can pay for a digital advertising space and get value from it in terms of advertising. So even as you think of the digital ads, I want you to think of potential places you could be running ads. It doesn't just have to be social media. I've mentioned a few, and each of them have their own sort of return on investment. But the beauty is about it is if you get into digital advertising as a career, then your work will majorly be setting up ads and optimizing them to perform the best, sorry, so that you can give your client the best value. So when it comes to setting up these different digital advertisements, the way I would set up my ad, kindly give me 1 minute. Sorry. So I was saying the way one digital marketer would set up their advert is not necessarily the same way another digital marketer would set up their advert. The way Melanie would come up with a social media campaign or an influencer campaign may be different from the way another digital marketer comes up with a campaign. So what am I trying to say here? As you keep considering this career in digital marketing, as you keep growing, it's very important for you to know that the more you practice, the better you become. But at the end of the day, the results that one digital marketer may get are not the same results another may get. So with practice, you end up improving a lot. So we also have something called email marketing. I think I mentioned it's more of building relationships with your target audience as you market to them on email. And we have a number of platforms that can be used to sort of do email marketing. Personally, I use a platform called MailChimp. I'll send the link on the chat just now for those who will probably ask that next. And there are a number of them. I use MailChimp because that was the first tool I was introduced to, and I sort of became extremely comfortable to use it as my platform for email marketing. So why would you use a platform for email marketing as compared to just sending out an email the normal way? Well, it allows you to sort of beautify your email. So allow me to show an example. For some of you who are on this call, you may have found out about this event in different ways, either through my email list, or you may have found out about it through social media or a friend. If you got an email from me, you realize that the email that came from my side looked like this. Let me just show you how it looked. So the email looked like this. It had some text. It had the poster to the different events I'll be running throughout the month. And then it also had a button. And at the bottom, it had links to social media pages. So what is the benefit of this? Anytime someone opens this email, I'll get a report on that. Anytime someone clicks on this button, I'll get a report. If anyone visits any of these social media pages, I'll get a report. If anyone forwards this email, I'll also get to know that. Why do you need to know all that information? Again, we don't just want to be sending emails for the sake of sending emails. You want to know that you're providing value. Same way, the way you post, you want to know what impact did that post have. So I have an email list of 838 people. And when I sent out this email, I had an open rate of 35%. So there were 284 opens in total out of the 800. Some people may have opened it more than once. Some may have opened once, of course, majority. And out of these 284 opens, 61 people clicked on something on the email, whether it was a button, whether it was the social media pages, they clicked on something. And if I wanted to know more about it, I come and click here on view report, and I sort of have a report generated for me. But before I dive into that, already you can see, if you decide to choose a career that is specifically to do with email marketing, it's not just about sending emails. You'll have to figure out how should that email look? What amount of text should it have? What should the email subject be to encourage people to open it? How am I going to analyze the analytics that come from it, which is what we have here? So you can see it even tells me how many emails bounced, 39. How many people unsubscribed after they were emailed, 6 of them. How many successful deliveries did I have? 790. So you're able to tell, all that. So in total, the number of people who opened were 395, but 284 were the unique ones. That means they opened one. No one forwarded this email. You can see it's at 0. No one marked it as an abuse, for example. If maybe my email was connected to an e-commerce platform, I could even tell things like orders. So how many people bought from the email? That's what platforms like Jumia, Sky Garden, any e-commerce platform that emails you, they're able to track things like this. As I scroll down, I'm able to tell, have the best practices for email marketing been met? How schemable is my email? MailChimp has ranked me 2 out of 3. How balanced are my text and visuals? 1 out of 1. How balanced are my links and call to actions? How balanced is my typography? They rate you on everything. So as I scroll down, I'm even able to tell how many people opened certain links. So the link that had all information to the training, 90 people clicked on it. 4 people visited our Facebook. The rest were not clicked by anyone. So you can see there's a lot more insight you get. What time did people open the email? What locations were those people from? You're able to tell all that. So I want you to just see that when it comes to these different platforms, it's not just about posting or sending an email. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes. These insights will guide you around your next email. For instance, for me right now, I would know if I'm sending out an email, majority of my people opened my email at 1 p.m. So I'm able to know, should I be sending my email at 1 p.m. or earlier or later? If other people had opened it, say at 5 a.m., you can schedule your email to go out at 5 a.m. It doesn't mean that you should be awake at 5 a.m. Just schedule it and allow it to go. So this is basically what email marketing entails. Again, in case you have any question, feel free to put it up on the chat. I can see we already have one, which I'll be addressing in the next few minutes. So as we keep going, I've spoken about email marketing. Next, I'd like us to talk about search engine optimization. And I mentioned it's where your website ranks when someone does a search for you. And in simple terms, I want you to imagine a scenario where today you are looking for something. Let's say you are looking for flowers in Nairobi. If I come here and search for flowers in Nairobi, I'll get a number of businesses that do flowers. For this specific industry, almost the whole page is running ads. So you can see all these people have the word ad beside them. But when I come to the bottom, like this one doesn't have an ad running. So by the time someone gets here, think of normal consumer behavior. You rarely get past the 3rd search unless you're doing research or unless you're very, very curious to know what other people have to offer. So chances of these other businesses being discovered are very low simply because their search engine optimization has been affected by these people running ads, which means they're not able to rank at the top. But even for those industries where people are not running ads, you'll notice that businesses will still appear, but how do they get to compete and figure out who ranks first and who ranks last? It's based on things we call keywords and key phrases, which you put when you're developing your website. So you can put it in the copy, which is the wordings on your website, or you can put it in the back end, which your developer would do. So you'll realize in this search of flowers in Nairobi, when you look through the results, we have some words in bold. I know my screen is on dark mode, but if I can zoom in for you, you'll notice some words are boldened. Like here we have flower, flowers. If I scroll down, we have flowers in Nairobi in bold. We have Nairobi in bold. That is what the Google algorithm is looking for when you do a search. So it's looking for websites that have those keywords, and either the one with the most will appear the first, or the one spending the most money when it comes to advertising will appear the first at the top, just like these results. So in as much as all brands want to be number one, how possible is it to make everyone number one? It's not possible. But search engine optimization is a long-term thing. It's something that you keep growing. If you're interested in a career like this, you should know that you'll interact a lot with websites, and you'll also get to interact a lot with, trying to figure out what are consumers searching for. So for example, other than flowers in Nairobi, what else could a typical consumer who's searching for this look for? If I scroll to the bottom of the search, Google will tell me people are also searching for cheap flowers in Nairobi. People are also searching for artificial flowers in Nairobi. So this guides you when it comes to your efforts of updating the keywords in your website in order to help you rank number one. So Google will look at the keywords, but they'll also look at the headlines, which is this blue part we have that I've highlighted. They'll also look at the link that goes to your website. Does it have any of the keywords? Then they'll also look at this section here called the description. So for the companies where you sort of have a certain keyword in all of them, you have higher chances of ranking up. That doesn't mean you think like a robot and update websites to work for the algorithm only. You also need to think of a consumer. Today, if I wanted to learn digital marketing, a simple consumer will come and search for what is digital marketing. And results will appear. You'll notice this one has appeared because it has what is digital marketing. It has digital marketing here. It has digital here, a number of things. But if you as the owner of the website decide, people won't be searching for what is digital marketing, maybe someone will come and search for digital marketing elements. How many people would search like that? But it will bring a different result. So think of your consumer who will search like this. Think of your consumer who will just come and search for digital marketing, not what is digital marketing. Think of that person who will come and search for online marketing instead of digital marketing. That's what search engine optimization is all about. So that's a whole detailed topic, but that intro should sort of give you an idea of what it should entail. I think we spoke about mobile marketing, the messages and the in-app notifications. That's also a potential career you can take. However, you may need to partner with companies that actually enable you to do things like bulk SMSs or developers that can help you have in-app notifications. We talked about affiliate marketing, really good, especially for companies that do sales, where you can basically just start an affiliate program, give people their own personalized link and tell them for every sale you make, which is tracked by that link, you'll get maybe 5%. So you're able to have lots of foot soldiers without having to hire them necessarily. So as I finalize, we have something here we call video marketing, which I had mentioned. Why exactly is video marketing important? Consumers are growing to see the need of having a variety of content. So it's no longer just about posters and images. People want to see videos that are telling stories. Of course, consumer concentration keeps reducing. So you'll find that for these videos that we're talking about, some of them are short, some of them are long, but preferably the shorter your video is and the more impact it has, the more likely you are to convert your customers. So as I wind up, just a few statistics that I'd like you to just know when it comes to video marketing based on a few different researches that were done. So Google's research shows that 6 out of 10 people would rather watch online videos than TV. YouTube also found out that its users view more than 1 billion hours of video each day on the YouTube platform. Already just from those two statistics, you can see the numbers are crazy for video. This is an area you can explore going into. In fact, in Kenya, I could shamelessly say it's such a need, especially for a career. You could become a video marketing consultant, for example, where your work is basically just to guide businesses on how they can leverage on video content to market their products or services. And you can actually help them develop strategies that are specifically video centered. So when it comes to digital, it's all about what you do with it. I remember for me, when I started my career, it started first with just managing friends pages and slowly grew into managing family friends pages. And eventually when I managed to get a little bit experience that I thought was sufficient enough to apply for a job, I landed in an agency where I had to learn all these aspects of digital marketing that I've spoken to you about. But right now, as my career has grown, I focus on just strategy, running ads, and training. So as you keep growing, I don't think this is one of those careers where from the very beginning, you know, I want to be a Facebook specialist. I think it's something you narrow down and come to as you keep going through your career. So I hope this conversation has shed a light around what a career in digital marketing looks like. I think I'll open the floor for questions now. There was a question already in the chat. Lil is asking, do the ads pop up on one's PC search engines according to the algorithm? Thank you for asking that question. So when it comes to these paid ads, it depends on a number of things. When the digital marketer is setting up the advert, you'll define things like age, you'll define things like gender, you'll define things like interests. But when you're also setting up some ads, again, it may decide to learn the consumer based on their behavior. So Google could decide, let me show Lil this advert because she's been searching for flowers and this is a flower company advertising. So yes, the algorithm sometimes could show you adverts based on what you've been searching for. So it could either be in form of the search ads or the pop-ups. So yes, definitely that's one of the things that guides it. Any other question? As we wind up, today's session was just to give you an idea of what a career in digital marketing looks like, maybe just to gauge the flow. Do you think this has shed great light around what a career in digital marketing is all about? If it has, feel free to click on the thumbs up button that you'll find just below your Zoom screen. So if it shed some light, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for your questions. In case you have any more, feel free to ask. Thank you so much. I can see a few people giving thumbs up. Thank you. I'm very glad that it's been able to just give you some insights. In case you have any questions, I will leave the remaining, let's say 2 to 3 minutes for questions. But for me, that's it. So feel free to drop off the call at your own pleasure. You can always reach out to me whenever you'd like. I have more free trainings coming up. So in case you're interested in learning more around how you can choose the right influencers for your brand, or maybe how you can figure out what is working or what is not working for your business, I'll have one to talk a little bit around email marketing. Feel free to just click the link that I'm sending on the chat right now. It has different free trainings that I have from next week to the end of July, I think. So feel free to just paste it there. But in case you signed up, I will share this link again on email and you'll just be able to sign up for them. So in case you don't get it here, feel free to sign up when you get it on email. For those who want to sort of explore and see how they can actually start a digital marketing career and probably take up a training on it, I have a paid training that I have to offer around digital marketing. It's a 5-week training. I'll also send the course outline on the chat. I have just done that. So in case you'd like more information or to see how you can basically explore digital marketing as a career, feel free to just look through some of those elements and reach out to me at whatever point. I think you have my email, at least in case you don't have it. Again, I will write that on the chat and feel free to reach out to me about anything digital marketing related, and I'll be happy to answer that. So I think someone had unmuted themselves. I don't know if you had a question or a comment, but feel free to speak at this point. In case there are no questions, you can leave at your own pleasure. Thank you so much for that comment. I can see someone has given me an emoji. Thank you.
Hi, Melanie. I do have a question.
Hi, Monica. Feel free to ask.
I was not able to listen almost every part of it. I had internet issues. Would you please share the recording?
No problem. The recording will be shared. So for my free trainings, I share the recording as soon as it's ready. So it will take almost, let's say 30 to 45 minutes. I'll share it as soon as it's ready. Then you can catch up on it. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Melanie. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. Have a lovely evening.
You too. Looking forward to the rest.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Bye and thank you.
Welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. In case there are no questions, I think I'll just end the call in the next minute. So I'll just give a minute for anyone who'd like to ask anything. After the minute is over, I will end the call. Most welcome, Lil.